I'm Carl Anthony on behalf of AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, information, and analysis to connect engineers, scientists, and automotive industry experts from all across the globe. Joining us today is Victor Gonzalez, the CEO of Anyverse. And Victor, welcome to AutoSens. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Carl. I'm pleased to be here with you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So, Victor, give us a high-level overview. Tell us a little bit about Anyverse. Let's start there.
Well, Anyverse is actually a spin-off of a company called Next Limit. We founded the company 25 years ago, so we have a long history in our shoulders developing simulation tools, simulation software for many industries. A few years ago, we decided to focus on a new business called Anyverse, which would focus on artificial intelligence and synthetic data. That's why those 25 years of experience were focused on this new project called Anyverse.
Of course. And so you mentioned synthetic data. Anyverse has a synthetic data platform. Let's take a minute now. Tell us, Victor, about the Anyverse synthetic data platform.
Well, Anyverse is a synthetic data platform, which means it can create synthetic data images or sequences that can reproduce how a camera, how a sensor captures the real world. So we simulate synthetic worlds, so to speak. We produce very high quality images and ground truth information, which together provides the synthetic data concept. Synthetic data is basically the way artificial intelligence developers can train and test their perception systems.
So tell us now, Victor, sort of a two-part question here. Let's go a little deeper. What is the technology behind Anyverse? And then how does it help make autonomous vehicles more trustworthy?
Yeah. Well, artificial intelligence developers and companies are struggling to get their systems as robust, as safe as possible. The problem today is the lack of data for training, testing, designing, maintenance. The problem right now is that when they want to train and test their systems, they have to capture data from the real world, process it, and use it for the development. Synthetic data is a solution to accelerate and boost their processes. Synthetic data is something much easier and less expensive in processing and producing. So that's why the idea of having a platform that can produce the synthetic data that they need to speed up their development is paramount today. So that's basically the problem of where the data is coming from. That's what we're solving.
So Anyverse's accurate sensor simulation. Now, this is no doubt valuable and unique for advanced perception technology developers, especially in automotive. I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of our viewers. And I think the next question they might have, Victor, is your sensor simulation pipeline. So let's talk about Anyverse's sensor simulation pipeline. Share that with us for our viewers.
Yeah, when people think about synthetic data and they think about graphics and have images, sequences that can reproduce the real world in a way that can be used for this AI training and testing, and that's fine up to a point where you want accuracy, and accuracy means that you want that synthetic data to be pixel accurate. So when you are developing new sensors and you want those sensors to be on an autonomous system, maybe a vehicle, maybe a drone, maybe a robot, you must be sure that the data that you simulate is exactly the one that's gonna that those systems will capture in the real world. You want to be very sure that you simulate exactly how the sensor works. Otherwise, you will train your system with data that doesn't resemble like the real world, and that can introduce biases, can introduce safety problems, whatever. Imagine the problem when you have to switch or update your sensors in your car. on your robot or whatever other autonomous system, you have to retrain, you have to use data that is, again, mimicking the way those sensors work. So that's exactly the focus of Anyverse, not just creating nice graphics or realistic graphics, but to be sure that that pixel is exactly the pixel that you'll get when you have your sensor in the real world. This capturing, obviously, the real environment with real lighting and real conditions. So we want to make sure that the developers will have a platform where the data is trustful enough to make sure that they can train their system properly.
Right. And so, Victor, what you're talking about with Anyverse, it's opening up a new range of features that developers probably didn't even know that they had access to, and particularly things that, boils everything down to a single solution. Uh, as far as saving time and cost and shortening the development life cycle of perception systems, tell us how Anyverse can do that, because it sounds like that's also, just like we were talking before a second ago with your sensor simulation pipeline, this seems to be an important part of your business as well. So how does Anyverse save time and cost and ultimately shorten these product development cycles?
There are different components to help in that. Basically, we have the scene scenario development. There is basically a module where our users can produce any kind of scenario. People are looking for variability, for diversity in their data. And for doing that, you need to have a lot of assets and tools and functions to orchestrate scenes properly. That means that you want to make sure that you can produce a lot of variability, weather conditions, lighting conditions, object dynamics around your ego car or your device, as fast as possible in this time and quickly. So that module is important to speed up the scene development process. Then you have the rendering and sensor simulation process. We were talking about that before, that adds the accuracy point to make sure that the data is going to be accurate enough. And then everything is encapsulated in the cloud architecture. That means that the user can run their system without local infrastructure. They can use the cloud. They can span a lot of computers at the same time to render data as quick as possible. So it means that in a matter of hours, in one day, you can have a lot of variability of a given scenario and a lot of synthetic data, images, sequences, whatever, also in a few hours. That is completely different from what you have to have when you're dealing with real world data,
Victor, this is incredible. So your clients have to be excited about this. So let's talk about some of your clients. Let's talk about some of your customers and how have you successfully implemented this technology, and then of course this training approach to their development processes that we're talking about.
Most of our customers are very interested in the accuracy concept. Obviously, there are other competitors and there are companies developing synthetic data solutions. Whenever our customers are very interested in developing a solution that can, for example, be very precise at very long distances. For example, you have cameras that have to detect objects at 500 meters, 1 kilometer ahead. You need to make sure that those pixels are correct. And in those cases, the customers came to us saying, you are the company that I need for because of that level of accuracy. We have traction, especially on the autonomous vehicles industry. There also another interesting use case, which is in-cabin monitoring, where for regulatory reasons, companies are now moving very quickly to develop their scenes, their systems, and they're looking for this kind of application to create in-cabin monitoring environments and synthetic data for that.
So, Victor, we have, as part of the program and then as part of the conference as well, a number of advanced perception technology developers. So, and I know that we've kind of covered this in so many words, but just as we near the end of our interview here, I just want to recap, because we've covered some really interesting ground with you. So what is the advantage of using Anyverse? Instead of just real data, or what is the key for our advanced perception developers that are watching? What are the advantages of going with Anyverse? Let's recap all of that for them.
Yeah, sure. Using real world data is limited, and it's going to be
Mhm.
more limited in the future as long as the artificial intelligence algorithms and sensors evolve. That evolution means that you need to have data that can catch up with that evolution. For example, you have new sensors that can see on the infrared or have different advanced features, more resolution, hyperspectral vision, whatever. And you have new artificial intelligence algorithms that can digest, can digest more data, more complex data. You cannot rely on real world data. Real world data is completely limited. You cannot capture the whole universe just having cameras in the real world. And that data is actually biased because it goes through a camera that's fixed camera you cannot change later. So that data is not going to help. We believe that synthetic data is the solution. And in the world of synthetic data, having a solution that can adapt to the evolution of the artificial intelligence algorithms and the new sensors that are coming up every few months. We have new features, new lenses, new levels of noise reduction functions, whatever. It's for us, it's essential. So we think that Anyverse can become one of the leaders, if not the leader, of synthetic data, universal synthetic data platform to solve many problems, not only in autonomous vehicles, but in any place where you need accurate data to develop an autonomous system.
And this is a great transition, Victor, into our last question for our interview. And thank you for being with us today. Is this technology that you're talking about, this is groundbreaking. And where do you see it going in, say, the next 5 or 10 years? What do you foresee is the future of this technology that we've been talking about?
Good question and difficult to answer.
Yeah.
In the short, medium term, I would say we want to have the platform as universal as possible, because it's not only about cars, it's not only about drones. There is a wide range of solutions where you have you're going to have cameras detecting behaviors and detecting situations, and complex AI to help us, maybe domestic robots, industrial. We feel like we are the verge of a new wall of autonomous systems around us. So for doing that, you need a solution that can spread its scope to all those different solutions. So we are designing the platform to be as open as possible, so it doesn't fit just in one or get stuck in just one vertical. So that's one thing. But I think the most interesting thing is when you think about how the system can help to make the training process more automatic. So right now there is a lot of human labor and human processes involved in the way of training and testing systems. And we envision a way where Anyverse could help to automatize that process. So for example, Anyverse can produce synthetic data. Synthetic data is processed by the training process, is tested, and it could go back in what we call a closed loop model and help and create more data automatically. So we envision a closed loop concept in which Anyverse is providing data automatically for the system to self-train and adapt to a new situations, new environments, new objects, whatever. So it's a bit more like AI on top of AI, if you let me say.
I love it. And I love the name of the company, Anyverse. Victor, where can our viewers go? Do you have a website or a LinkedIn page? Where can our viewers go to find out more information about the company?
Yeah, it's easy. We have a website called anyverse.ai, and we have a LinkedIn website, which is Anyverse. It's very simple, very easy to find us.
Victor, I want to thank you for your time today, for sharing your technology and your expertise with us. From all of us here at AutoSense, we wish you the best of luck going forward, and thank you for being with us today.
A pleasure. Thank you very much.
For more AutoSense, visit our official YouTube page and follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn by searching AutoSense. For more information on our world-class events and technical training, visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSense, I'm Carl Anthony.